I'm Dave Dunipace, President of Innovate Champion Discs. Mainly, I got two drivers, unless you call a Thunderbird a driver. I guess it's the driver, sort of. My main driver is a turn, G-star turn. And I have various stabilities of G-star turns from, maybe a -1 turn to a -2 or 3, possibly that much turn in it. And that's my main driver. Other than that, it's destroyers, and it'd be G-star destroyers also. I like the grip on G-star plastic.
How about mids and putters?
Well, for fairway drivers, first, I would say Thunderbird. Got two different Thunderbirds in my bag. One's basically it's my Firebird. It's very stable, and the other one is a worn in, and they're both G-star. And then Leopard 3, and Leopard 3 kind of kicked the FD out of my bag for kind of an all-purpose fairway driver kind of thing. I use the Leopard 3 a lot for that. The Thunderbirds I use basically, they're substituting for T-Bird type shots, more stable, more left finishing kind of stuff. And I throw also sidearm with the Thunderbird, with the more stable one most of the time. I throw either one of those. I could never throw a T-Bird sidearm, but it's the lower profile on the Thunderbird makes it a lot easier to throw sidearm. As far as mid-range goes, I didn't have a mid-range in my bag for quite a time, and now I have two. And they're not quite mid-ranges, but they're pretty close. One is the Colt, which is real easy to throw. It's got a slight instability, so it makes it pretty easy to throw turnover shots, to throw straight shots starting with a slight hyzer, which is my preference. And you can throw hyzer with it, just put more hyzer on it too. It's real reliable. I wouldn't try to throw it into a big wind without putting some decent amount of hyzer on it. But the other one that's in my bag, you can throw anywhere, anytime, and that's the Stud. It's the brother of the Colt. They look identical, but they don't feel identical, and they don't fly identical. So they're sneaking. The Stud is basically it's like a lower profile big bead AVR. It doesn't finish quite as hard as the big bead AVR, but it's a little rock basically, and it has. I know you can really wail on that thing at any speed in any wind. So I think those two pair up really well for me in the bag. It's G-star too, because I love the grip. As far as putting, Nova. That's it. That's my entire bag. Well, generally, the least favorite discs, the ones I don't generally throw, are the horkingly overstable guys, like Monsters and even Firebirds I don't really throw. That would probably be the one I might throw the most. I don't like real overstable discs at all. My preference is the straighter the disc can fly, the better the disc is, the more that you can do with it too. You can throw a straight disc on a hyzer, you can throw a straight disc straight, and you can throw a turnover shot with a straight disc. You can roll a straight disc. You can throw upside down with a straight disc. There's I understand that the hooking disc is generally thought to be better in the wind, but there's a lot of downside, I think, to hooking discs. I never liked them. Favorite mold over the years, excuse me, is probably the AVR. But I don't have an AVR in my bag right now, but I have a disc that's like an AVR in my bag that I throw. And if I were to have an actual AVR in my bag, it'd be the Whale, which is not called an AVR, but it's basically an AVR. Whale, the reason why is because it's like the kind of disc that I like that I described. It's pretty much straight at all speeds. You know, you can play with it in the wind, you can play with it in no wind, it shoots downwind, upwind, you can turn it over, you can hyzer it, you know, you can do anything with a Whale. Well, it's changed over the year. I mean, the AVR for a long time.
What about your current?
Right now, the Turn and the Destroyer. The Turn and the Destroyer. Well, I like my Nova a lot too. I don't know. Probably every disc in my bag. That's why they're in my bag. The Colt. Well, it depends upon the course. If the course is gigantic, I guess not. It would have to be a beat-up Thunderbird. Well, it's changing, but the Viking was historically not very popular, but when it came out, it was hands down the best fairway driver ever. I mean, you could keep that thing on the fairway, you could throw a sidearm, you know, it held up in a wind really well. We're selling more now. It's more popular now than it was when it first came out, but I was surprised about that one. Took a long time for the Shark to catch on, but now it's, you know. Yeah, I think we had, and we're still working on it, I guess. We're still working on getting this disc to full production, is the Zephyr. It's a catch disc. It's a terrific catch disc, and you know, Whammo sells like billions of Frisbees out there, and the Zephyr, in my opinion, is better than any Frisbee they have out there, and very small market so far. 11 times. I don't even know what the plastic was at that point in time. The plastic changes every year. Sometimes every batch of plastic that we get is different. Even though you order exactly the same plastic, you don't get the same plastic. And they don't guarantee that you will either. They guarantee you homogeneity inside of a batch. And that's one batch. That's a lot number. And sometimes when you order plastics, you get 2 or 3 lot numbers, so you get 2 or 3 variations of plastics. So whatever that plastic was, it's gone. Not necessarily. It's not necessarily. I mean, if you go back to what they call it, night shift star plastic, that was pretty soft and grippy too. It just depends. It changes. Like I say, the plastic changes all the time. We want to make star plastic, you know, between G-Star and Champion. Champion's usually the stiffest, and Star, you know, we want it to be grippy and fairly firm. But, you know, it's a lot of variations. You know, we hear rumors from time to time that we're discontinuing discs like the T-Bird or the Destroyer, and I gotta wonder who's starting those rumors. Why would we discontinue our most popular plastic? That doesn't make any sense at all. Well, we have a minimum of 2 Hall of Famers test these things, and former world champions, 3 of them sometimes. Sam Farron's being the 3rd, but basically me and Steve Weiskup do the initial testing. And if we think it passes the initial testing, then my friends who are also disc golfers and have a lot of different styles of of play, they get into the testing and get to opine as to whether or not they think this is something they would like or not. And some of them, that's all they can say. You know, Steve and I, we know the nuances of the disc, and we can describe all the things that we think are good and not so good about the particular disc. Some of my friends, all they can do is say they like it or they don't like it, but that's good information. One of my friends is a flutter master. You know, he throws a flutter ball real fast, and that's a really good testing. You know, how torque resistant is this disc? Hand it to Rob. Rob, throw this thing, and we find out real quick. You know, that way. I used to have this guy Tom Pitchford, who used to be the course keeper at La Mirada. He's moved away to Arkansas now, but I used to always have him test new discs because he couldn't throw very far at all. He was a good thrower, good accurate thrower, but he couldn't throw very far. So we could see if this disc was going to be something for recreational players. We give it to Tom, and Tom would test it and see whether or not he liked it or whether, you know, how it would work for him. So we test across the spectrum of throwers, sidearm and backhand and rolling, and you know, we do the whole thing. That's a big old mouthful of a question.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, I don't really know what's coming up. And I never really did. I mean, that far ahead. Maybe, we need something for this, you know, and it's pretty immediate. And you can ask Eric. I mean, when I come up with something that we want to do plastic-wise or mold-wise or whatever, consistency-wise, I want to do it right away. But they always make me wait because of whatever, you know. Well, we have all this other stuff that we have to get through first, kind of stuff, you know. But when I find something to improve, you know, improve the plastic or the consistency or mold, you know, or new innovative disc design or something like that, I want to do it now. And usually I get my way, but release to the public is where I don't get my way, because there's thousands of discs in inventory ahead of time, you know, so it sucks. It sucks being bigger as opposed to smaller for that reason. Oh yeah. Signs, you know, the course signs, disc golf being played here and this kind of thing. Our course signs haven't really sold that well, but now the PDJ is doing their own course sign thing, so evidently they thought it was a good idea. Oh yeah, 2-color hot stamp machine. That was a big one too.
2-color hot stamp?
2-color hot stamp machine, yep. Big price tag and never really worked.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we for portables. I don't know if that's if you mean travel baskets. No, but you know, the Traveler does pretty well, and that's for that particular collapsible kind of thing. But our portable, we're going to go to a 2-pipe system, so it'll all fit in one box.
Nice,
yeah. It makes it a little bit easier to take around. Oh yeah, and a wheel on our
nice,
on our big boy, on our Pro version. We're going to have a wheel option if you want that. You know, I thought about this, and actually I expected bigger things by this time in 1983. I expected that we had a lot more venues like ball golf has, you know, manicured courses and clubhouses, and you can drink beer and play disc golf on a really nicely designed course, and you know, have that nice Disneyland park experience basically while you're playing disc golf. I also thought that night golf would be more developed than it is now. I really thought that, I mean, you know, it's been 33 years or something like that. And, you know, I thought about these ideas when we first got in. Night golf would be really, really cool, especially in the hot areas, you know, the Arizona or Southern California, Texas, and New Mexico and all that stuff. You don't want to play during the day, you know, but night, hey, after work, I'm not working and I can go play Frisbee at the night lit course, which is really cool, and, you know, have a beer after work and play disc golf.
So,
not happening. It's happening at a couple of courses here in Southern California and probably a couple of courses elsewhere, but not enough. I thought it would be bigger by this time. But the thing that did blow my mind when I finally thought of it was, and this is probably going to sound bad, but you know, I developed the arrow and the eagle, right? And before that, we had Frisbee golf, and from that point on, it was disc golf. It was much more dynamic. It was much more chance to be professional, much more chance to catch the eye of athletes who are not going to make fun of it. I mean, Frisbee golf got made fun of for a long, long, long time, even after we started disc golf for a long time, because they kept thinking Frisbee golf. You know, Frisbee golf, that's for tie-dyed, granola-eating, you know, Californians, which it was. And I was one of those. I wasn't tie-dyed, but I ate granola and I played. But what was, at the time, I was always thinking, was I a one-trick pony? You know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now? I don't have another thing. Am I done? Is this it? And the thing that would have blown my mind at that time is all the new things I have come up with, thinking I was done every single time. What am I going to do next? Don't know. I have no idea. Right now I have one of those things that we're working on that I didn't have last year, you know, and I wouldn't have thought of it 5 years ago. It's like, you know, that sounds kind of big-headed, but it's true. It would have blown my mind, all the things that I have come up with since 1983. Wouldn't have thought it possible. Okay, first of all, that under par thing, that 80 under par thing, that's a huge canard. That's something that these number freaks used to point to there's something wrong with disc golf. And 80 under par per se doesn't mean there's anything wrong with disc golf at all. It just means that it's not like ball golf. Well, duh. It's not like ball golf. The rules are basically the same, but the equipment is completely different. You play it completely differently. The putting is completely different. It's not the same game, and you're not going to get the same type of scoring as ball golf. Having said that, you can make the par if you want people to shoot over par. You can do that, and I've seen a lot of course design like you step up to the tee and you look down the fairway and there's no fairway. That'll do it. You know, I don't think we want that. I mean, excuse me, that's not true. Some people do want that, because the more random the course is, the more it levels the playing field. It means if you want to beat Paul Macbeth, you want a random as course as possible. You don't want any fairways at all, and you don't want any way for Paul to be able to throw his magnificent shots and beat you. So you basically want a 50-50 opportunity through a really random course. Well, and there are courses like that. And not to that extent necessarily, but anything along those lines, to me, means it's not a professional course. It means it's a recreational course. And a lot of recreational players, to get back to the answer on the thing, do like that random element. Lots of players don't understand the difference between recreational golf and professional disc golf. Now, when we started our company, it was Frisbee golf. There's another way. If you want to take those scores from 80 under par to maybe 80 over par, on the same course, play with a Frisbee. Go to the store, get a package Frisbee, maybe a 165 or 141 or whatever. Play with that. Watch what happens to your score. Those are excellent discs. They go straight. You know, they take quite a bit of skill to throw compared to our cheater discs, which are way easier to throw and go way farther and stuff like that, you know. So if you want to make the game more difficult without even touching the course, make everybody play with a Frisbee. That's called Frisbee golf. We never wanted Frisbee golf. We wanted professional golf. We haven't got it yet. UC's given it a shot now with a World Golf Tour, and he's trying to make sure that the courses are up to his standards of professional golf. He understands the difference between recreational golf and professional golf. He's one of the few that understand. You know, the big name designers out there, they don't necessarily understand the difference, and they are touted as being the best course designers out there, you know. But I've seen their courses. Some of the holes are definitely outstanding professional holes, and some of them are random recreational holes. They still don't get it out there. Well, USDGC, I mean, if you want the cream to rise to the top, you want the course to be difficult and fair at the same time, USDGC. You know, you can't believe the amount of whining that we've heard about the course design innovations we've put in over the years, but they're there for a reason. They're there to separate the wheat from the chaff, and it does it really, really well. You know, Paul Macbeth wins by 5 strokes. I don't think that's a fluke. I mean, look at his rating compared to the rest of the field. You know, you can't use statistics all the time like that, but if he played enough rounds, Paul should beat the field on a really professional course. He should beat the field by, you know, if he's playing 10 rounds, probably 20 strokes, because he's 2 strokes better than the next guy, you know, according to his rating. Well, they played 4 rounds. He probably should have beat Ricky by 8 strokes, but he sucked, so he only beat him by 5, you know. Well, there's 2 specifically. I mean, I don't know if we have time for all that, if your battery's going to run out, but the one I'm most interested in is having the nose radius on the drivers be blunted somewhat. And it sounds horrible to blunt the nose by 50%, but in reality, that's only 1/32 of an inch radius. Very small change for a very big advantage in safety. That reduces the cutting force by 50%. Where these discs hit trees or hit people or something like that, it would make it a lot safer and would not change the flight dynamics of the discs at all. Well, there's the mandatory rule, and it might be getting changed. The mandatory rule now is kind of cumbersome, and people don't really understand it. I want it to be where, I don't know if I can explain it that quickly, but you got the mandatory pole, and you never make the mandatory at all, but you can never go across this plane in that direction. That's it. You can't do that. That's the only rule. If you do that, you go to the drop zone. So there's not when you make the mandatory or anything like that. You can't throw across that plane in that direction. It's a lot simpler that way. I think there's tremendous potential internationally in some areas. It has to, I mean, there's tremendous potential internationally for disc golf, period. Doesn't matter where the area is. But for Innova or any disc producer in the United States, the economy has to be right. They have to be able to afford the discs, or afford the targets. They can afford the game, but they're going to probably have to develop their own infrastructure or whatever themselves. I mean, in a lot of countries, they're pretty poor. Standard of living pretty low, so they're going to want to buy a $20 disc from the United States. I don't think so. Even a $10 disc from the United States, that probably feeds a family of 4 for a month or something like that in some of the countries. So in Europe, yeah, the standard of living is fairly high, and there's a lot of potential for growth in Europe, in the Arabic countries.
Finland has a huge market. But
That's really the only big market in Europe at the moment is Finland. And you can compare the market to Finland by itself to a market in one of the states in the United States, But there's also Sweden, which is a fairly good-sized market. There's Denmark and Czechoslovakia and a few other countries that got, a small market. Even in Russia, there's a small market. We also have Innova Japan, but that's a pretty small market too. The aggregate maybe 5% of our sales or something like that. It's not tremendously big, but we expect it to grow. There's also Australia too, but it's pretty minuscule. Okay. Even if I were, which I'm not, I can't sell Innova. I don't own Innova. I own a portion of Innova. I have partners. I was trying to think of the number of partners I have, but 1, 2, 3, I have 4 other partners. We together own Innova, and Innova wouldn't have been started ever without my partners. They put the money up. And none of those guys want to sell either. It's a family business. Basically, it's 3 families now. It was 4, but Tim Selinsky is no longer with us. It's the Duvals, the Dunipaces, and the Muirs. 2 Duvals, 2 Muirs, and 2 Dunipaces. My son is also part of the company now. Ours, I don't know. What? That's too long of a time frame. I usually look at, next month or a couple of months ahead. That's about it. Mountain biking was, I haven't done it in a while because too many crashes. Took out my left shoulder and a little bit shy about getting back in the saddle. Well, it's Macbeth because if you're going to go driving, drive against drive, I might even take Kenny against Macbeth. But Macbeth is just an idiotically good putter, And Kenny was a very, very good putter, but nobody putts like Macbeth.
Facto, pterodactyl when I micro and macro my mind. Why would I try to hide the fact that I'm jacked to be actually naturally high? And I'm that guy with the flashlight, looking back at the track with the black light. How about this, how about that? Pay attention to wax, you're free to see what that's like. And that's why we need to take things slow, slow. And that's why we need to let some things go. Take a trip through your mystery. Hopefully this visit is a victory, and quick to relieve any trickery. Then we can put it down as history. Bye. See you later, alligator. Better not be a hater. Hit the fader. Hip hop is a greater love. Innovate and bait a hug when we cut a rug. Just think hip hop is what made it up. Never to stop and never to drop the ball. Never to never, although remember the probable. Either option, just keep clocking. Nobody answers, you just keep knocking. Talking the talk, walking the walk while we're rocking alive, rocking alive. Talking the talk, walking the walk while we're rocking alive, rocking the brock. Talking the talk, walking the walk while we're rocking alive, rocking alive. Hey man, what time we meeting up tonight? What time? At midnight. Like that, like that, like that. Like. Brock.
Right about now, we about to get down. Hop up in the hoopty with the booming sound. Buckets and brushes, we bring in the ruckus. We're painting the town, ain't nobody above us. Y'all feeling the vision? This a Brock composition. Man, we're more than musicians. We're men on a mission.
We're men on a mission, men on a mission. Now listen up, we men on a mission.
It's obvious that my conglomerate can't rap at all, no wait, the opposite. Cause syntax fit with a dominance that requires a fireproof esophagus. He bringing the apocalypse, I'm bringing all the chocolates. I'm making s'mores on the flames of the war torn. My ego is bigger than Hodor. Keep my eye on you just like I'm Mordor. The rapping Hamlet just landed, damn it. Your local vocals are plastic habit. Gotta break them down. About to rock a party right now. Talking about, walking about, stepping out, listen now. Waka, holy cow, about to break a record now. I'm the man, work hard, no rest. I'm the pow boogie, I'm the blast from the past. What?
Talking the talk, walking the walk while we're rocking alive, rocking alive. Talking the talk, walking the walk while we're rocking alive, rocking the brock. Talking the talk, walking the walk while we're rocking alive, rocking alive. At midnight.